What is going on, guys? It is David Clayton of KZR Racing once again, and welcome back to my F1 Manager 22 career mode for round number 10 today for our home race, the British Grand Prix. If you guys did miss the last episode, do feel free to check out my channel. The playlist will be there. But for now, we just got to go through a few bits of admin as per the usual and see what we can do heading into this race. So, if we go to over here, we have the wind tunnel has finally been upgraded. This is what we hope will improve our aerodynamics something a little bit more. We're not too much of an improvement there, but hopefully in the long run, when we start getting more and more upgrades, that'll be try and get my words out. That'll probably be a lot better for us when we get all the upgrades and that and everything to the facilities. But for now, though, we had a very difficult race last time. I completely screwed up the strategy when the rain came. Everyone else went straight onto wet tyres. I thought it was only going to be an inter period, and we ended up finishing last with Sebastian behind Latifi. So that was fairly embarrassing, to say the least. So if we go and have a look at the facilities, we should now have only the design centre left. But now we're at level 2 on the wind tunnel. So the next thing I want to look at is this, the CFD simulator. This is also in regards to the upgrading. When you manufacture parts, you get the you have CFD time and wind tunnel time. So the CFD is going to be another 10 million. We've got 40 million to spend, so we might as well go for that. Get that in, and that's going to take, how long is that going to, did that say it was going to take? It was going to be 48, okay, 48 days. That's not too bad. And then staff facilities, team hub, race simulator as well. We're not too bad there. And then the operation facilities, we've got the memorabilia room to help with the team morale for the staff and the drivers. So at the moment, all the staff are on okay morale, as well as the drivers. So doing those bits and pieces to the facilities, and that definitely helped. We got 7 days until the next race. Where are we in terms of development? Side pods are going to take 10 days. So after the British Grand Prix, we're going to be is when we're going to start being able to manufacture the new side pods. Current projects, yeah, that's pretty much it. So for now, we haven't got much going on at the moment. So we'll have to wait until that all comes through. And yeah, so we're going to fast forward now. Right, we got the yep, so we got the aero reset. Oh, that's the other thing as well. I'm glad I got that email. Our ERS started wearing out in Canada, especially with Stowe. It stopped. It couldn't quite do the charging properly. It was hanging around 50% charge for most of the race, so we couldn't. It wasn't until I put it on harvest that it went back up to its original condition. So we're going to change these. I'm going to have to think about also making some new ERS parts at this rate, because we've only got 2 for each car, so that's going to entail some penalties at some point. I am also believing that's going to be the case with the engine and gearbox as well. Might get away with the gearbox, but the engine is definitely going to be the engine's probably going to need one more by the end of the season, so we're going to have to take some penalties at some point. Stroll's contract is ending soon as well. He's got 6 months left, but then again, so has Sebastian as well. Monthly salary. because I've also been looking into Jack Doohan as well. So I don't know where we stand on this. Where's remaining on his contract 5 months. What's I'll wait until after the British Grand Prix before I decide anything with the contracts and that for these two, because I know for a fact I'm going to be I know for a fact I want to get one of the younger guys from F3 or F2. So we'll leave that for now, and we'll go into practice. We'll go into the practice session and see what we can do.
We're here in legendary Silverstone, where the very first Formula One World Championship Grand Prix was held back in 1950. It's a place where every tuft of grass breathes motorsport, and the crowd are already crackling with excitement. Silverstone demands a lot of power from cars, with numerous twists and historic turns. Downforce is going to be a key factor to manage if teams want to succeed here. The season is about halfway through, and it makes me wonder, what else is in store for the teams? Well, there's only one way to find out. There's nothing like a race weekend in Formula One.
Okay, we just got into the practice hub. We'll do the same as what we've usually done. We're going to send, we're going to increase the run time before we send these guys out to 20 laps. So we'll do that for Sebastian, and we'll do the same for Stroll. I'm going to do something a little bit different in practice too. We'll see how these guys go when we sim the first practice session. So practice 1 is completed. Bottas has a grid penalty this race, so we'll see where he goes. Yeah, not looking good at the moment. We're not too good on the high and medium speed, and we're not too good on the high and medium speed on our car at the moment, and that's showing. So, 36, 35, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, before we go into practice 2, I'm going to check these guys. Yeah, great, good, bad, bad, bad. Right, give me a minute to play around with this, and I'll see where I can get Seb. Okay, so we got roughly... I've left oversteer roughly where it is. We'll see if that changes after this session. But for now, that's pretty much near the middle on all of them for Seb. So we're going to go and do that. Do his 20 lap run time. And now we're going to go across to Stroll. And wow, great and 4 bads. Right, give me a moment. Give me a moment. I've got to work something out here. Okay, I've kept the same as Stroll. I've kept the oversteer where it is, but I've got as roughly as close to the middle of the optimal zones as I can get for Stroll. So we'll do the same for him. Get him out for 20 laps. And then with this setup, we will sim this session as well. See where we end up here. Verstappen again tops the session. Albon's really going to make this one difficult for us this race. 61 for Seb, 81 for Stroll. So that's encouraging there. So we're going to skip through to practice 3. Now let's see where we're going wrong with Seb. Still bad on traction and straights. Right, let's give me a minute, let me see if I can get this to work. Right, we've made a few little adjustments to Sebastian's one. We'll have a better idea when we actually adjust the settings midway through this session, so we can actually zero in on it better. We're going to go on to a Oh wow, we haven't really got many mediums left to play with. That one's lots for the race, as is that one. Right, we'll stick. Well, we've got one mediums for the race, so we'll stick him out on these mediums. And then for Stroll, he got 81, so let's see where he is. Right, he's got 2 optimals on the traction and oversteer, and 3 goods. Right, so let's see if I can improve this without compromising anything else. Okay, the traction and the oversteer is still pretty much in the same area. We're going to try this setup for Stroll and see how that does. We're going to put him on to mediums as well. Run plan 20 laps. So let's go into the practice session and see where we stand after the first runs. Okay, Seb's report has just come through.
Doing any more?
72. It's better than what it was.
Copy.
I still think we can do better than that, so we're going to call him in. And Stroll has just come through as well. 95, okay. I'm confident to keep Stroll going now. I'm going to leave Stroll doing what he's doing. And, yeah, we're going to go back to Vettel. He's going to come in at the end of this lap. Here he comes now out of Stowe. Yeah, I'm 95% with Stroll. I'm happy with that. Very happy. That's probably the closest. That's definitely the closest I've ever gotten to a perfect setup. But Sebastian, still not quite getting somewhere right with him. So we're going to let him pull in, and we're going to get the setup up, reconfigure. Where are we going wrong? Drivers set up. He's bad on traction still. Right, let's see what we can do. Okay, I've made a few minor adjustments to Seb's setup. We are going to put him out on a set of soft. Might as well put him out on a set of soft tyres. There's no reason not to. He's still on the run plan for 20 laps, so let's confirm that, get him reconfigured, and then we'll get him out again and see what we can do. As for Stroll, how much fuel has Stroll got left on available? He hasn't got much left. He's going to be he's going to be running out soon. Right, for Stroll, I'm going to call him back in. Just purely to put him on a set of soft tyres and get him out there for another few runs and see what we can do. Okay, Seb's new setup thing has come through, 78%.
Car's good. All good, yeah.
Right, that's unfortunately that's probably as close as we're going to get with Sebastian. We've only got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to leave him out to get his full track knowledge. He's only at 97%, so I'm going to leave him out there until the end. As for Stroll, he's nearly out of fuel, so I think I'm going to just call him back in. It's a good day's work for Stroll. Seb, meanwhile, as soon as he hits 100% on his track knowledge, I'll call him in and call the session there and then head to qualifying. But one thing I have noticed about Silverstone in particular, when you get to the end of the lap and you pull into the pits, you actually set a faster time than you do as if you go the normal way round. I don't know if that's a fault in where the timing line is on the game, but that's a bit of a weird one, to be honest. It's a bit of a weird thing to have. But yeah, we'll let Seb finish off. While he's doing that, we'll go straight into qualifying and see what we can do. But looking at the times and where we are at the moment, it's not looking too promising, unfortunately. Right, okay, here we are in qualifying now. We're going to get the boys out straight away. Send Stroll out first. Give it a minute, and then we will get Sebastian out after the Ferrari goes past. There we go. So let the guys do what they need to do on their first runs and see how we do. Right, coming up to the end of the hangar straight now. As Stroll goes through, Stroll just goes through Stowe and up to Club and Vale. Out the final few corners. Let's see what, see if anything can be done here. So 129.8 for 129.8 for Stroll. He's half a second slower than Magnussen, who was just behind him on his lap. As Vettel comes out the final few corners now, and he has an absolute shocker again. He must have caught some cars out the pit lane again. That's yeah, that's a bit of a bad lap for Sebastian again. He's been really getting shafted on catching cars out the pit lane. It's really starting to become a theme, unfortunately. But right, so we'll fast forward so when I send them out for their second laps, and then see if we can get any improvements. Okay, the last few cars are pulling into the pits now. Yeah, quite a few people actually got stiffed by the traffic. Hamilton, Russell, Perez, Schumacher, Ricciardo as well. They've all been hampered by the traffic too. So as soon as that last car pulls in, around the 3:15 mark, there's one of the Alfa Romeos as they pull in the garage. When they pull in, we're going to send Stroll out now. And then Sebastian, as soon as I see the first cars pull out from the garage just up the top, I will send him out. And there goes one of the McLarens. So we'll get Vettel out now as that McLaren and the Alpine go past. One of the Alpha Tauris. Come on, let my boy go. There we go. Right, he's in the middle of the pack, so this time he shouldn't get caught in any traffic this time. Stroll's out by his lonesome as usual, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem for him. Right, coming up to the end of the hangar straight again. Stroll's run. He is green in both sectors, so he's improved. It's probably only going to be like a tenth or so as normal. So we'll have to wait and see as he goes into the final few corners, through Club, through Vale, and onto the straight. What's it going to be? He has improved by half a tenth again. As for Sebastian, he's green in both sectors. He gets caught by the Red Bull at the worst possible time as well. Who is that on... who is that? As for Verstappen, of course it would be. Of course it would be. So, out comes Sebastian. He still goes quicker than Stroll, though, so he didn't lose that much time, but we're just going to wait for all the guys now to put us back in our place. So there goes Hamilton. Latifi's done, as is Albon. Up goes one of the others. So we know Perez is gonna jump up there. So we are out of queue. There you go. We're out of queue. Q1 again. Here comes Schumacher. He's going to shoot up there, no doubt. And yep, there it is. Norris joins us in the knockout. Albon is so close to us again. This is, yeah. Turns out the high-speed tracks are not to our car's liking, as it seems. But we've also got a penalty for Bottas as well, so we'll have to see where he stands on the grids tomorrow, on Sunday. But yeah, so yeah, out in Q1 again, guys. No surprise there. So we'll just skip through and go straight to the race. Okay, now I'll go on to the strategy screen for Sebastian. One stop and two stops. Is it worth trying anything funny with the strategy? No, where the yeah, where that if we just select this, 52 lap race, and the pit bone is lap 24. Yeah, there's no point in trying anything funny with that strategy. So we're going to put both the guys on the same strategy. Stroll, we're going to put him on a shorter. Actually, no, we're going to push. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to put Stroll a lap longer on the soft tyres, and see how he compares. His tyre wear hasn't actually been too bad in the last few races, so he's doing a bit better. But yeah, for now, we'll go to the grid and see what we can do in the race.
We have beautiful blue skies overhead as the drivers line up on the grid. And there's Sebastian Vettel. They'll be starting the race from the bottom half of the grid, so there's a fair bit of ground to make up. There's Lance Stroll, down the grid. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. Will their hard work pay off today? Hold on tight.
Okay, here we go
It's
to
the
5
British
red
Grand
lights
Prix.
for the British Grand Prix. The green flag has been given.
It's lights
And
out,
we are
and away we
away.
go.
And Sebastian, hopefully he can get another good start. He's closing up alongside. Nope, Norris just gets ahead alongside the Alfa Romeo Joe. Bottas never served his penalty for some reason. He's still up in 10th where he started. In the meantime, Sebastian's just lurking around. See if he can get any potential of taking. Oh my God, there's a pile up. Oh my, what happened there? What happened there? Stroll just gained massively out of that. What on earth happened?
Nicely done.
Stroll shot up to 16th. He's ahead of Stroll. What happened there?
We can take a look now. Now let's have a look.
Just
It's
someone,
Lance Stroll.
one of the Alpines just stopped ahead of us on circuit. I can't make out who it was. Who was that Alpine that stopped? They just literally just stopped on track for whatever reason. Ocon. So that's, I don't know what's happened there with why Ocon stopped where he did. But yeah, Stroll didn't need a second invitation. He went straight past Vettel and Joe. And is sticking on the back of Norris so far. So they're not pulling away at an alarming rate. But then again, Ocon did back a whole load of cars up into us. So let's go on to Stroll. He's going to go onto the pit straight. Let's see if we can get him a bit closer to Norris.
Overtake.
If he could do anything about it. No, not quite. Joe's already left Sebastian behind, and he's going to catch up to us. That's how. Yeah, we're still not nowhere near where we would like to be. I'm going to have to. With the wind tunnel, though, I think I can afford to push a little bit more on developing some new parts for the wings and that, and the underfloor. I don't want to go too far because I want to spend some more of my time developing for next year. So we'll have to see how the performance goes of some of the new parts with the wind tunnel. I'm not too sure if the side pods might actually fall into that category. I don't know, because the wind tunnel was completed after we started designing the side pods, so I don't know. It's going to be it's a bit of a weird one to think about. That does the wind tunnel coming up? Does the wind tunnel coming in even after you started designing a project make a difference, or is it pretty much static? But no idea. We'll have to see. So far, though, Stroll's actually keeping up. He's half a second behind Norris, but he's not getting left behind. So I don't know. We'll have to see how things. We'll have to see how things go throughout the race. But so far, it's looking a bit more promising. Vettel's clear. Vettel's perfectly clear of the two Williams, with Latifi holding up his teammates. So Latifi's actually doing us a favour here by doing this. So Zhou, meanwhile, is getting a little bit frisky now with Stroll. Stroll was having to put more focus on defending from the Latifi. Zhou, sorry, it's defending from Zhou than he is going after Norris. He just keeps having a quick look, sticking his nose out, and that's unfortunately dropped us out of DRS range of Norris. So as soon as one of the cars comes up behind us, it gets a bit difficult to keep in the DRS range. Yeah, we're out of DRS range, and Zhou is right on our case now. So we're going to overtake, defend down this straight. Fortunately, that's oh no, Zhou pulled out around the outside of Luffield. Is Stroll going to hold him out? Yep, just about. But Zhou is right on the back of us now. I can only hope that we can hold out for a respectable amount of time, but not get completely left behind. I know our qualifying pace is not as good as our race pace, but yeah, as soon as we go into Magnus and Beckett's while being followed by another car, it does become quite noticeable how quickly the others pull away from us. And Zhou's already, he already pulled out, got alongside us, and yeah, that's the end of that. So maybe if Stroll can stick with him. As we had a car run wide at turn 14, Magnussen went off circuit. He went off at the outside of Stroll, and that's cost him a place to Alonso, that seems. So, bit of a disappointment there for the Haas team, but not too focused on that right now. As we come to the end of lap 4, Stroll has stuck with Zhou, and we got the two McLarens and Tsunoda spread out down the straight to avoid the slipstream. So let's see what Stroll can do. We're in behind Zhou, so we're going to get DRS. We'll see if that can. Oh, Zhou's pulled away massively, pulling out of that corner. So we're going to go back to neutral. No point in stressing all the DRS down the straight. Yeah, we'll have to see. Vettel's lurking in the background. Stroll. We'll see how well he does. Those guys ahead of him are definitely going to be fighting for a little while, so that should hopefully help keep Stroll in the midst of them all. So for now, we'll skip forward and see how well we do. Right, we've got end of lap 11 for us, or lap 10 I should say. At the moment, it has been as I thought it would be. It's just been a DRS train led by Tsunoda, and Stroll has actually been doing really well just to hang on to the back of this train. Sorry, he's now 6 seconds ahead of Vettel, who's all the way back here, just coming on to the Wellington Straight now. But yeah, Stroll's done really well, to be honest. After the absolute debacle of a race that we had last week, last race at Canada, he's done really well to actually be able to be in the midst with these guys, just hanging on to the back of them, because Tsunoda is having to defend relentlessly from Ricciardo, moving offline all the time, and it's just bunching us all up together. But if you go onto the map, there's actually two trains. There's actually two trains that formed. One's further up, that's led by Russell back to Bottas, and then our train, which is led by Tsunoda to Stroll. And then you got the top guys doing their thing. You got the top guys doing their thing. If we go up to the leader, Verstappen's leading by 2 seconds from the Ferraris of Leclerc and Sainz. They started by locking out the front row, but they just Verstappen got them off the line, I'm assuming, at some point, and has just pulled out a nice gap to it. And then Perez is back here, having to fend off Hamilton. Hamilton again has just gotten a good start. Has just been able to keep up with the Red Bulls. He goes round the outside of Perez, going into Luffield now. Is he going to run him out wide and take 4th place? He is. He's up into 4th place ahead of Perez. Lewis Hamilton is on a mission right now. if he's got the pace, maybe if he's got the pace to stick with Perez, maybe they can catch the Ferraris ahead. You never know. Lewis being spurred on by the home crowd, of course. Multiple-time race winner here at this circuit. But Perez is going to be right on the back of him, coming out of Maggots and Beckett's onto the hangar straight. And Perez is already alongside him, so this is going to be a slam dunk for Perez, going back into fourth. They're 3.7 behind Sainz at the moment. But Hamilton, he's going to stick with Perez if he's got the pace to do it, which he's shown that he has. So, and then all the way back here, here's the first train. Russell leads the train ahead of Alonso, Magnussen, Schumacher, Gasly, Ocon and Bottas. So these guys are in their own little train, all the way back to Bottas at the end of it. And I just saw, Alonso thought about a move, but backed out of it at the end. And then here's this second train that Stroll's tail ending, led by Tsunoda, who's being harassed by the McLarens. Ricciardo ahead of Norris, and then Zhou back here as well. And Stroll, still there, still hanging on to the back of him. That's all I really want him to do, in all honesty. I really don't want him to actually get in the midst of fighting these guys. I want him to just stick with them and let them pull him along. And then I'll adjust his pit strategy according to what they do. So if like one of the McLarens or something come in, I'll probably pit him with them. Because if one of these guys come in, it's it's most likely that the other ones will come in. Yeah, because all of these guys, apart from Ricciardo, he started on the hards, as have Albon and Latifi. So that's why those guys are even slower than normal. Tsunoda's actually got a bit of a gap because Ricciardo and Norris have started to get a little bit feisty. Ricciardo's dropped out of DRS range of Tsunoda, so Tsunoda's now got a little bit of a breathing room, but I don't think it will be long before that train catches back up to him again. So as Ricciardo leads these guys out, Zhou's on the back of Norris. He's going for a move on Norris, but is Norris going to go for the move on Ricciardo? Stroll, however, is going for a move on both of them as Stroll. Lance Stroll went round the outside of Zhou and he very nearly got Ricciardo as well. He thought about it, but yeah, brave move there from Stroll. He saw the opportunity, he got Stroll and very nearly had a look at Ricciardo as well. But yeah, that's pretty much the tale of what these guys are doing. Norris now is past Ricciardo and is already cutting that gap back to Tsunoda. He's already shaved 2/10 off. Now it's down to just over a second. That won't be long before they catch up to the back of Tsunoda, particularly if they're in this DRS train. Norris already moves away to break the toe, but Ricciardo, he's got the speed, he's got the overspeed, he's going to go right round the outside again of his teammate and back up into P14. So, yeah, so these guys, this DRS train is going to be here for a while. Tsunoda might be out of DRS range, but it won't be long before all four of these guys close back up to them. Norris is pulled offline because Stroll is directly under the back of his rear wing. Stroll's putting in some work this race. I'll give that to him. He's made a few oddball mistakes, but when he performs, he actually does the job really well. Vettel, unfortunately, is having another one of those quiet races of his, especially after what happened at Canada in the last race. He got really poorly stiffed, unfortunately, poor Sebastian in the last race. There's a car. Apparently there was a thing for a car that's run wide. It's Magnussen again has gone wide. This time at turn 14. And he very nearly collected Alonso there. He's pulled up at the side and he's now out of that DRS train now. So he's now fallen into a little void of his own, just like Sebastian. If we go on the mini map, yeah, you can see they're just going through turn 1 on the map. He's now in his own little void now, along with Vettel. And you've got Perez and Hamilton still fighting. Leclerc and Sainz, they're still fighting over second. And Verstappen's just leaving them to it. He's going about his business. So, at the moment, Tsunoda's actually holding the 1.3 gap. He's holding them out of DRS range. So he's got He's got some good pace on him, just holding these guys back, but it doesn't help that they're all fighting each other. So, as you can see, Norris is now going to go around the outside of Ricciardo at the end of the Wellington straight too. So, yeah, that's... we're going to leave these guys to it. It won't be long before the pit windows anyway, so we'll cut to the pit windows and see where we stand for Stroll and Vettel. Okay, the first few guys have pitted. Verstappen and Hamilton have pitted, so the Ferraris have retaken the lead. And there goes one of the McLarens, that's Norris. He's coming already off his mediums. As Zhou gets past us again, I'm not too surprised by that. But, yeah, all these guys are now starting to pit around us. As Stroll and Zhou now move up to 12th and 13th respectively. Zhou is just outside of Ricciardo's DRS range, so we'll go on to Stroll and get him on the overtake.
Use overtake.
On Stroll, let's see what you got.
Okay.
Put him on push as well. Use up that fuel.
No saving required.
Gonna go on board, and he just powers past Zhou down the straight. Put him back on balance. Take him off overtake. Really good move there from Stroll, and that's actually brought him back into DS range of Ricciardo as Albon locks up.
Here's the replay. Now watch this. Here's the moment.
He locked up at turn 2. Oh, big lock up there. That was a nasty lock up. That's not going to do those tyres any good. So Stroll's gotten past Zhou now. Hopefully he can stay within the DRS range of Ricciardo. So as Vettel, actually, I just saw that, overtook Schumacher. So Schumacher's one of the ones that already pitted. So Vettel putting one on his young protege there, down the inside this time at that corner. Normally it's been one of those ones around the outside, but Schumacher's back down the inside of him. As we watch that go on for as long as we could. Schumacher's probably gotten back past him again, so no, he hasn't actually. So we're going to go back onto Stroll. We should have DRS, and he does. We're on overtake and push, but Zhou is Zhou switched it back to the inside. What are you doing, Guan Yu Zhou? That was insane from Zhou. He switched from left to right and went onto the grass on the inside at Stowe corner. That was absolutely ridiculous from the Chinese driver. That's not something that's normally would result in real life. That would result in a double lockup, and Stroll would have been taken out by that move. But fortunately, game mechanics taking advantage of that. We're still within DRS of Ricciardo, so let's see what Stroll can do. He's going to get in the slipstream and try and close up to him. Is he going to get close enough to make a move? No, not quite round the outside, but he's right on the back of Ricciardo now. So we're going to see how this pans out here. He's still got plenty of fuel to push Stroll, so we're going to let him push as hard as he can. And that's, that's not good. Is Zhou alongside him? No, not quite. He's done enough to just keep Zhou out of the thing, as we see Schumacher has predictably gotten past Vettel on fresh tyres. Yep, returning the favour down the end of the Wellington straight. We're going to go back to the live feed for Stroll, get him on overtake out of Maggots and Beckett's. To try and keep Zhou behind him. He's still pushing on the fuel as well. So now back to neutral. Zhou's going to try and not quite make it round the outside. But he's going to make a late brake move down the inside of Club and Vale. Is Stroll going to hang him out though? Yes, he is. Zhou thought better of it. Zhou's getting really, really aggressive with Stroll here. He's getting fed up with staring at the back of him. But that's the thing. That's how good Stroll's been driving. He's been doing just enough to keep within range of Ricciardo, while also using that to fend off Zhou. And Zhou's starting to get a little bit impatient and starting to making moves that are a bit too risque, so to speak. Now we're going to follow Stroll. Is he going to think about a move? No, he doesn't. He doesn't make the move into this section. Put him on overtake out of Luffield, see if he can do anything there. He's still on pushing. He hasn't used a lot of fuel while he's been pushing behind Ricciardo, but is Zhou going to think about it? No, Zhou, not Stroll, sorry, not Zhou. Stroll, Zhou. There's too many people who sound the same on this race at the moment. Right, we'll follow Stroll's right on the back of Ricciardo, though, as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. So we're going to flick him on the overtake now. He's definitely a lot closer this time. So I would imagine with DRS, he's going to go down the inside. No, Ricciardo's just going to park his car there. Oh, that's so annoying. As Stroll goes onto the grass as well. Dodgy racing lines there for the AI as Ricciardo comes in. So we're going to leave Stroll on push. Zhou's going to stick with him now. So Stroll's pitted. No, Ricciardo's pitted. Stroll and Zhou stay out. But now I've got no DRS to protect from Zhou, so I may have to think about letting Zhou go here. Sebastian, he's coming out the final corner. He's still with Schumacher, and he's saved up a bit of fuel, so we're going to push him. Go back to Stroll. I think I may have to let Zhou go here. I don't think Stroll... he used up a lot of ERS in that fight with Ricciardo, so here comes Zhou, and he does not quite make the move, so we're gonna... Sebastian's pit window is also open, so I'm gonna let these guys do what they need to do up until their pit windows, but I think I may need to bring Zhou Stroll. I may need to bring Stroll in a lap before Sebastian, because his tyre wear is at 54, whereas Sebastian's is 58. That may have to be the thing. Stroll is the lead car on circuit, so I can afford to do that as Russell's catching up to us in the background as he's made his stop. Should be coming up to Stroll. Stroll's pit window should be opening soon, so I'm going to think about making my stop soon. When is Sebastian's stop? His pit window is active, but Stroll's has just opened. So we'll keep an eye on where they go. But I think at the end of the next lap is when I need to bring Stroll in, and then the lap after that will be Sebastian. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll bring. I think I'm definitely going to have to bring Stroll in a lap earlier. His tyres are definitely not looking good, and Zhou is still struggling to get past him. I'm a little bit scared actually, because the driver behaviour on this game does make quite a difference. And I've seen drivers lock up and take each other out when they get very, very, very impatient with each other. So I'm hoping that Zhou doesn't try anything ridiculous that ends up taking Stroll out, because he's in a good position at the moment compared to a lot of the other guys.
Martin with a great play there.
It's just come up as Schumacher, as Vettel's overtaken Schumacher. He's gone down the inside of Luffield. Vettel on those warm tyres is still taking it to Schumacher, so he's still got plenty of race in him, even on those warm mediums. But it shows the pace difference that even a Haas is a full pit stop ahead of us in this race. As Zhou, as we just cut back to it, Zhou's finally gotten past Stroll. It was coming. There's nothing really much I could do about that. And now Russell's going to have a look down the inside, faster car. This is probably going to be an inevitability. Nope, he holds on. Stroll holds on. He's still within DRS of Zhou, so it's not all out of it yet. I'm going to go on to Stroll because I am going to pit him at the end of this lap. I'll try to leave him out there as long as I can, but I am going to pit him this lap onto the hard tyres. He's not quite going to make those tyres last as long as I would have liked, but it's one of those things. But we're going to not messing with Stroll's ERS. Actually, we're going to put him on harvest. He's coming in this lap, and There's no point in fighting Russell, in all honesty. There's no point because Russell is in a much superior car to us. So I'm going to get Stroll in, get him onto the hards and get him back out. There's a yellow flag that's just popped up as well, I've just noticed. So
Come on.
it is... Oh, Norris has spun at
Let's see
turn
what happened
3.
there. Watch this. We're
He
looking
spun
Lando
at the slow
Norris.
speed chasing Ricciardo, yep.
What a spin out.
So that's going to make things interesting for us because Stroll was in that pack with Norris.
With an overtake there.
It's just come up. I'm not going to show that replay. Schumacher's overtaken Vettel again. No surprise there. And now there goes Russell around the outside of Maggots and Beckett. Again, no surprise. He's in a Mercedes. It's much faster than our Aston Martin at this moment in time. But we are coming in at the end of this lap, so less fighting with the Mercedes is a lot better. So in comes Stroll. So now Vettel is going to be, here he comes. He's still fighting Schumacher. So he's going to have a look down the inside. No, he thought better of it. As we've got Alonso, Bottas and Magnussen are also in, along with Stroll and Tsunoda. So Vettel now comes across the line. And we're going to pit him in at the end of this lap, as we knew we would. He's going onto the hards as well.
Tsunoda is pitching.
So that'll be our one stop for the day complete.
Box.
He's done well to look after his ERSs, and one of the, I think that was the Haas of Magnussen. It was. So we're in with the Haas's, and Vettel again has used this to his advantage to try and get in the mix. Schumacher holds him off, but we have got DRS thanks to Magnussen coming out when he did. As now, Schumacher's now going to go down the inside of Magnussen. There he goes. So we're going to have Vettel stick with these guys for the moment. He's going to come in at the end of this lap. Stroll's now come back out, and he is with Lando. He is. Been brought back into the frame with Lando, but Ricciardo is 2 seconds up the road with Tsunoda. So apparently Norris overtook Stroll, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to take the word for that. As Stroll, he's with Norris now, so Norris has pulled away a little bit though. So we're going to put him back on the neutral, so he's using some of the DRS. He's using some of his battery. He has got DRS though, so that should pull him along a little bit. He's half a second within range. Vettel has now pitted. He's just come in. He's going to drop right behind these guys because he hasn't been on the pace with Vettel, unfortunately. So, I mean, he hasn't been on the pace with Stroll, unfortunately. As here he comes. Where's Zhou in all of this? Where's Zhou in all of this? Has Zhou come out? Oh, he's just come out ahead of us. So we're still with Zhou and Norris in this fight, and the other McLaren of Ricciardo and Tsunoda are still only just up the road. So hang on a minute. We may still be in this with Stroll yet. We may still have somewhat of a decent result with Lance Stroll, as Norris thinks about having a look. Norris thought about having a look, and Stroll thought about having a look at Norris as he did that. So we're going to have to see how the rest of this race pans out for these guys, because again, three cars in the DRS train is going to allow the tail end car to keep up with them at a better rate. And then obviously we got Ricciardo is on the back of Tsunoda, so he's made up all that time he lost fighting everyone else in the pit lane. And it's just a case of whether Zhou, Norris and Stroll can catch back up to them. So as Zhou now is thought about, no, that was Norris going around the outside of Zhou, so Norris just overtook Stroll. We saw that. Zhou, I keep getting those two crossed up. I am going to get this right when these two are together on track one of these days, I promise. But yeah, for now, so we got Guan Yu ahead of Stroll, still chasing Norris as they try and get the slipstream down the main straight. And Vettel, he's come back out here in his own little world. He's on his own once again. Whereas Stroll's having all the action on him at the moment. Norris has... he's pulling the guys with him, and the gap is now down to 2.7, 2.9. It did start going down a little bit, so as Zhou now goes for a move around the outside of Norris, that's going to turn to the inside for Luffield. So these guys are now fighting. Stroll is just literally watching this with a bucket of popcorn, waiting to pick up the pieces if he needs to. Kind of all I want him to do, to be honest. I don't want him to get caught up in these guys fighting and have an unnecessary crash. So what I'm going to do for Vettel, he's going to start using a bit of his fuel now. So I'm going to put him back to balance so he doesn't burn himself out. And then for Stroll, he's still going to maintain his fuel while sitting behind these guys, watching them fight. Speaking of which, Norris is going to re-overtake Zhou again down the hangar straight, clean as you like. And no, Stroll almost got Zhou in the process of doing that. He closed right up to him, following the toe of Lando. But yeah, we're just gonna. This is going to be the status quo for now. Everyone's made their stops. They're all on their second set of tyres. So it's just a case of waiting and see where all these guys pan out later on in the race. Okay, we just come on to the end of lap 30. And it's brewing up at the front because Verstappen has now got both Ferraris for company, and Leclerc goes down the inside into Stowe. So this three-way scrap for the lead. The Ferraris were slowly catching Verstappen at a fair rate. And now it's paid off, as now Leclerc has gotten back into the lead of the British Grand Prix. Verstappen's dropped to second, and he's got Sainz directly behind him and no backup because Perez spent most of his first stint fighting off Hamilton. And then, just for a bit of context, they're tied on points in the championship, and here they are together on track, Russell v Alonso. And Alonso is making Russell's life absolutely miserable. He cannot get away from this Alpine, no matter how hard he tries. It's just sticking with him all the time, as Verstappen, down the Wellington Straight, gets back ahead of Leclerc, but they're coming up to the hangar straight again, so I doubt that will last for too much longer. As we stick with them down the old pit straight, heading towards Cops. Through they go there. We're going to stick with Leclerc as they get to the hangar straight. Follow these guys here. We're going to go on board through Maggots and Beckett's. He's 3.5 tenths behind, but he's definitely within range as DRS now opens. Full overtake road. Mitchwitz going. Verstappen's going to cover the inside. Is Leclerc going to go for the move? No, he's not. Sainz is just lurking in the background there. He's waiting to pick up the pieces. He doesn't want to take out his teammate, obviously. Verstappen, though, is hanging on for dear life now. And he's got 20 laps of this to go. So for now, Leclerc defends from Sainz there.
Good job.
Sainz thought about a move down the pit straight, as it seems. Stroll saying his tyres are getting a little bit warm, so we're going to put him there, as apparently he's overtaken Norris. Saying that, oh, he went a bit wide there, going through onto Luffield, but then Norris went wide at Luffield himself. So bit of hard racing there from those guys, making mistakes on each other. So Stroll's now gotten ahead of Norris, and he's now on the back of Zhou. Meanwhile, we've got these guys here still fighting, as Leclerc doesn't quite make the move there. As we go onto the list, Alonso's now gotten ahead of Russell. Russell's got to be fuming that Alonso just keeps making his life so difficult right now. So we're going to put Vettel on light as well. Make sure his tyres don't start overheating. And then, as it just come up, Norris has overtaken Stroll. I'm not going to see that one, but Russell goes round the outside of Alonso, and he's back up into P6. But again, it's whether he can actually pull away from the Spaniard this time. And we've got Ocon just lingering in the background. Bottas and Gasly are fighting for the final few points places. They're the two Hasses. And you've got Ricciardo and Tsunoda still fighting their battle. And then you've got these three still together. Zhou, Norris and Stroll. All getting in the midst with each other. And then Vettel, God bless Vettel, 14.7 seconds behind Stroll at this point. Just, yeah, not an ideal race for Sebastian. Nice quiet race and that. He's still comfortably ahead of the two Williams, which is where we at the bare minimum want to be. But yeah, as soon as that start though, where Ocon just stopped, really cost Sebastian. He's been absolutely nowhere since. As Stroll is now struggling to hang on to the back of this group here. He's still got DRS. As Norris now overtakes Zhou going into Stowe corner. But yeah, we'll cut away and see if anything changes, guys. I'm not too sure. Some of the guys stopped quite early in that, so you never know. Some of these guys might be making a two-stop. We'll have to see. Okay, just a quick update, guys. Some of these cars have pitted, and that includes Lando. Lando has stopped for a second time, as has Schumacher as well. So Schumacher has come into the pit, so Stroll's going to get ahead of him. We're going to the end for definite. Gasly has only just come out, and Stroll's just got ahead of him. So this is going to be interesting to the end of the race now, because a lot of these guys have pit, including Verstappen, Verstappen, Hamilton. Leclerc's just come in. Perez is here. Verstappen's just going down the hangar straight. What's Sainz going to do? What's Sainz's tyres saying? 71. Oh, he's going to the end of the race. Surely he has to go to the end of the race. There's no way he's going to stop again. So here comes Perez has just pitted. Here comes Verstappen out the final corner. Leclerc is still on the pit lane. This is going to be close between Sebastian and Charles. Leclerc comes out of the pits. Is he going to be just ahead of Verstappen? Yes, he is. He's gotten ahead of him. The overcuts worked. So Charles is now in second ahead of Verstappen. Sainz, meanwhile, is all the way up here on his own. He can't possibly be stopping again. There's no way. There's no way they're going to be stopping again. We've got the same tyre wear as him. Zhou as well. I just can't see it happening. I can't see Sainz stopping. We'll stick with him. He's coming up to the end of the lap now. So as he goes down the hangar straight, what are you going to do, Carlos? Are you going to pit? It's coming up now through Stowe. He does not pit. Okay, so he might be going to the end of the race. Stroll, meanwhile, has got Gasly for company, and Zhou, without Norris in that DRS train, is pulled away. And here comes Gasly. He's going to overtake us for definite. Understandable. He's now on mediums compared to our hards. But, as is the way with this race, if Stroll can stick with Gasly as he closes up to Zhou, I will take that. I will take that. If Gasly can pull us along, we can stick with him. That'll be ideal. Meanwhile, Vettel's the one now racing Norris. So I don't understand why some of these guys pitted the second time. I don't see the logic behind it. The hard tyres can go the distance. So the question remains is why? Why would you do that? Gasly is pulling Stroll along down the hangar straight. Gasly's now only 1.4 behind Zhou. So Gasly is catching him, and he's pulling Stroll with him. So hopefully we're going to get back into this fight with Zhou. And Ricciardo's pit. Ricciardo is pit as well. Where is he? He's actually now in his box, so we're going to get ahead of Ricciardo as well. What on earth is going on? He's gone onto the soft tyres, though. He's gone onto the softs. You got Norris is overtaken Vettel. that's
Here's the
no
replay.
shock there. That's
Now
probably,
just take a look
yeah,
at
down the
that
hanger
lap.
straight, DRS open. Yeah, no challenge there for Norris. So now Ricciardo is just here. He's on softs. Schumacher's only just up the road. And then you got us chasing Gasly, who in turn is catching Zhou. He's now within DRS range of Zhou. So that's what we were hoping we were going to get. But as for the tyres, we're going to the end. We are going to the end of the race. So I'm not backing out of this one stop. But now Russell's now coming in as well. It's just popped up on the ladder on the left. Here's Zhou as well. And now Gasly's in DRS range of Zhou, and we're in DRS range of Gasly. So we're all going to close right up again, which is what we want. As now Gasly's gotten right up to Zhou so quickly there. And in the background here, Norris has still got Vettel for company. Vettel's still stuck in the DRS range, so that's good of Vettel. As Gasly is now trying to go side by side with Zhou. Zhou's having none of it though. But again, Stroll is now in a decent position here. He's 14th. He's got a 9-second gap to Schumacher, but he is in DRS train with Gasly and Zhou. And Ocon has only just come out up the road with Tsunoda. So this is going to be an interesting last few laps, guys. I'm not going to lie. Is Gasly, is he going to go in for the move on Stroll? On Zhou, sorry, and he does. He gets it smooth as you like. So now it's going to be a case of whether or not these guys can stick with him. They're all in a DRS train now, so I would imagine that these guys are going to stay somewhat close together throughout the rest of this race, because as soon as you doesn't really matter what tyre you're on, if you get close enough with the DRS range, you can just pull yourself along with the faster cars. So we're going to watch the effect here as Stroll is 3/10 behind Zhou, who in turn is half a second behind Gasly, but we're all going to just close right up again. Zhou closes DRS as he gets closer to Gasly, but again, Stroll, he just closes up to the back of them as well, because they're both offline, and shows Stroll sticking to the racing line. I'm doing it again. But again, also at the front, I should point out as well, Carlos Sainz still hasn't pitted, and he's 20 seconds ahead, 20 and a half seconds ahead of Verstappen, who in turn is somehow, oh no, he's not, yeah, that's better. Leclerc is 6/10 just behind Verstappen, so depends. Sainz is still going, so I'm pretty certain Sainz is fully committed to his one stop, as is myself and Stroll, as he catches up now to, ironically, he catches up to Vettel and Norris. So I'm pretty certain now Sainz is committed to the one stop. I'm pretty certain of that now. So we're going to go back to Stroll. He's still hanging on to these guys. Vettel pulls over to let the leader through, but he will catch back up again when Sainz catches Norris. So this is going to be interesting. There goes Sainz through at Luffield, and now here comes Vettel. Vettel thought about it, but Norris saw him coming and wisely shut the door. So is Sainz going to do this? Is he going to cheekily finesse his way to a third win of the season? That'll be interesting. That'll be very, very interesting if he does. It's going to change the dynamic of the team championship, the drivers' championship, to say the least, as Leclerc gets past Verstappen coming out of Luffield as well. So these two fighting each other are just going to give Sainz all the more breathing room that he needs. As we just saw in the background, I just saw that Vettel got his nose down the inside at Stowe, but couldn't quite make the move. Okay, we're on the penultimate lap now, as Sainz has just started this last lap, and things have gotten very interesting because Gasly has pulled us all the way to being on the back of Tsunoda and Ocon. We are literally just here in touching distance of the final points paying position. So if the cars bunch up close enough in this last lap, with a bit of luck, we see what we can do. Hopefully if Stroll gets advantage come his way, he'll take it. It's not looking likely, however. Gasly's only just within the DRS range of his teammate who's chasing Ocon. But that's the pace that Gasly's had when while pulling us with it. Tsunoda's going for the move on Ocon. Ocon just holds him off. Ocon fighting tooth and nail for that final point. They're going to go on to the last lap. Gasly's right there. So's Zhou. Oh, Zhou's just dropped out of DRS range. Ah, that's a shame. That's a shame. We're still within DRS of Zhou. But we're going to come through here. We're going to put Stroll onto overtake just to see what he can do. But it's just come up on the top. Carlos Sainz has indeed won the British Grand Prix, and there it is. Carlos Sainz has taken his third win of the season, his second in a row, back-to-back wins for the Spaniard from Canada to Britain. He is on a roll now. He is on a roll. As now Stroll not quite close enough there. We're going to leave him on overtake for the rest of this lap. I might as well let him see if he can get. Let him see if he can get Zhou. Sebastian crosses the line P18. He did drop away from Norris at the end. Unfortunate. He did. He got very unlucky. Norris. He got very, very unlucky. He should have been. He should have been up where with Stroll where he is now, to be honest. But it just wasn't to be. So here comes Stroll. Here comes Stroll now. He's going to have one last chance down the hang straight. He's closer than he's ever been before. He's not going to do it, is he? He's not going to make that move. Oh, Stroll. Stroll. You had the chance to make the move, mate. You had the chance to make the move. Go on, attack. Use up the tyres. Oh, that's a shame. But I'm not going to complain. Stroll did absolutely brilliantly, and it's the first time we finished with one car on the lead lap as well. We've actually completed the full race distance for the first time this year, which is mad to think about. We were actually the last car on the lead lap. So there you go, paddock regular, complete 10 Grand Prix in one career. Happy with how that's gone. But here's the final results. Carlos Sainz once again wins. He takes his third win of the year at the British Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc, it's a Ferrari 1-2 on British soil. Max Verstappen rounds out the podium with the fastest lap as well. Sergio Perez, again, absolutely nowhere, caught up fighting Hamilton. Alonso gets fifth place, so on the one stop, he benefited from that as well. As well as Bottas, he got P7 with Hamilton in between them in P6, and then Russell, Magnussen and Ocon rounding out the final points paying position, but not a lot between Ocon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Zhou and ourselves. So as soon as we got into that position where we could be pulled along by Gasly, we were able to make the most of it, but it's just Zhou dropped out of Gasly's DRS range, and we completely fell out of sync there, so we couldn't quite get Zhou at the end, but there's still promise there. Stroll did a lot better this race. He's actually redeemed himself from the last couple of races that he's had. So as we go to the driver's standings, Carlos Sainz now pulls the gap to 8 points between himself and his teammate. Verstappen closes up to his teammate, to Perez. They're now 1 point separated, but they still have a lot of work to do, Red Bull, to catch up with the Ferraris. Hamilton still maintains his strong P5 in the championship, and then we've got Alonso has gotten back ahead of George. George had an absolute shocker of a race this time, and then Bottas, Ocon, Gasly rounds out the top 10 in the driver's standings. Constructors all the same. Haas gain on AlphaTauri, they're now 1 point behind them, but we were close this time. This is the first time we were actually touching distance of the points, so I have hope now. I have a bit of hope that we can actually score some points this season. as we round out the drivers' briefing at the end of the race, go through all the admin. We're actually that was actually a very good race for us, as now the design for the side pods is complete. So next episode we'll get on crafting a few of those to hopefully help us with our drag reduction for the next round at the Red Bull Ring. But everything's looking good, and we've got a development point for Stowe, so we have a little bit of admin work to do for the next race. We're not going to get the side pods for Austria. It's only 4 days between now and then, so for that, we've got a few bits and pieces to do, and I'm going to start considering what I'm going to do with my drivers as well. So for now, we're going to leave off the episode there. If you did enjoy the episode, please feel free to leave a like and a comment down below. It really helps. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss another video. I'm David Clayton of KZR Racing, and I'll see you next time for round number 11 at the Austrian Grand Prix. Goodbye.